In 2016, Rihanna posted a savage meme on Instagram that completely broke the internet. It read, "None of my exes are married or in happy relationships, so it's safe to say I wasn't the problem. And honestly, look at the lineup and she might just be right." Today, she's settled down with her longtime peer, A$AP Rocky, raising a family at the absolute peak of music and fashion. But the road to getting there, it wasn't just dramatic, it was entirely exclusive. Rihanna has a very specific tier when it comes to romance. We are talking global pop royalty, hip-hop icons, Hollywood A-listers, sports champions, and actual billionaires. But when you only date the highest-profile men on Earth, the spotlight burns incredibly bright. And the controversies that followed these relationships, they literally shook pop culture history. Let's dive into the elite, chaotic, and highly controversial history of Rihanna's exes. We have to start in 2007, with a relationship that began as a teenage dream and ended as a global headline. Rihanna and Chris Brown were the undisputed king and queen of the late 2000s pop scene. They were young, wildly successful, and completely unavoidable. But in February 2009, the illusion shattered. On the night before the Grammy Awards, a massive argument escalated into a brutal physical assault. Chris Brown left Rihanna with severe injuries, leading to felony charges, 5 years of probation, and massive global outrage. It was a dark, defining moment in modern pop culture. Yet, the real shockwave hit the public 3 years later. In late 2012, despite the public backlash, Rihanna did the unthinkable. She got back together with him. They recorded a provocative track called Nobody's Business and walked the 2013 Grammy red carpet together, defiant against the world's judgment. Rihanna later admitted she felt she could save him and that the world just didn't understand. But by mid-2013, the reality set in. She realized you can't fix someone at the expense of your own peace, and she closed that toxic chapter for good. If the Chris Brown era was characterized by trauma, the Drake era was defined by a multi-year elite ego war. Drake and Rihanna were the two biggest hitmakers of the 2010s, and their personal lives blurred into their music for nearly a decade. They first hooked up casually in 2009, sparking an on-again, off-again saga that drove fans crazy. The stakes were so high, and the egos so massive, that the tension between her high-profile exes turned physical. In 2012, Drake and Chris Brown's entourages got into a legendary, bottle-throwing brawl at a New York nightclub. Two of the biggest male artists in the world, literally tearing a club apart over Rihanna. The peak of this high-profile romance came at the 2016 MTV Video Music Awards. Drake stood on stage in a tuxedo, looked Rihanna in the eye in front of millions of viewers, and confessed he had been in love with her since he was 22 years old. Felt like a movie ending. Except they broke up 2 months later. By 2018, Rihanna coldly told Vogue they weren't even friends anymore. The fallout was so intense that Drake unfollowed her, and years later, he was still throwing subliminal shade at her and A$AP Rocky on his albums. When you're that famous, moving on publicly is apparently impossible. But the elite standard didn't stop with Drake. In 2015, Rihanna had an intensely private, high-energy fling with Travis Scott, right before his massive rise to stadium status fame and his era with Kylie Jenner. They collaborated on music and were spotted all over New York Fashion Week. But behind the scenes, rumor has it that Travis was deeply frustrated because Rihanna insisted on keeping the romance completely under wraps, causing it to quickly fizzle out. Once she moved on from hip-hop royalty, she went straight for generational wealth. In 2017, photos surfaced of Rihanna vacationing with Hassan Jameel, a Saudi businessman whose family holds the exclusive distribution rights to Toyota in Saudi Arabia. We are talking billions of dollars in net worth. This relationship completely altered Rihanna's lifestyle. For 3 years, she stepped out of the Hollywood lens, moved to London, and focused on building her own Fenty empire. It was a relationship of equals, two billionaires operating at the highest levels of global commerce. But by 2020, the sheer scale of their individual lives and conflicting schedules brought a quiet, mature end to her longest relationship. Even when Rihanna wasn't in a committed relationship, her casual dating pool read like a VIP guest list. She spent a year dating MLB superstar Matt Kemp during the height of his baseball career, calling him a much-needed safe haven. Later, the internet went into a complete frenzy when she was spotted partying on Valentine's Day weekend and hitting up clubs in Paris with none other than Leonardo DiCaprio. Add in a high-speed summer fling with Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton, and it becomes completely clear Rihanna simply does not operate in normal social circles. Dating at that level comes with a price. Every text, every club exit, and every breakup becomes historical text for the internet. But Rihanna took the chaos of her 20s, filtered out the noise, and built a billion-dollar legacy before choosing her ultimate partner in A$AP Rocky. A match based on mutual respect, elite fashion, and equal star power. So, looking back at the sheer scale of her dating history, do you think anyone else could have handled the heat? Or was Rihanna's standard just too high for them to keep up? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss another deep dive. See you in the next video.